All right. Ms. Lorraine Efron. Lorraine Efron. Lorraine Efron on David Rodriguez, going once, going twice. All right, Victoria, have you and Raymond Martinez had a chance to speak to whomever you need to speak with regards to your bond issue?
Yes, Judge, and it looks like the state is not going to take an official position. They're going to let the court decide, and I think it's pretty straightforward at this point.
Okay, just give me one moment with your case. And then Mr. Hitchens.
Yes, Your Honor. Looking for my client, Stephen Velasquez. I called him. He's
here.
Okay, good. Okay.
All right, I'll send you all to a breakout room. Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 with your attorney. All right, and then Ernest Acevedo, who do you have?
You didn't look at that.
Judge, I'm here on Brandon Wright, and I need to confer with Michael Villarreal, please.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Ernest, I'm sorry, Lorraine Efron.
Judge, my screen froze. I'm sorry. Mr. Rodriguez is here, and I did receive an offer.
Where is he?
I saw his name on the screen.
David Rodriguez. David Rodriguez.
There he is, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, you're not allowed to allow your screen to go dark unless you are signing paperwork. You understand? I'm going to send him to breakout room number 3, Ms. Efron.
You're going to send the client there?
Yes, with you. You need to speak with him, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Judy Wimmert. And then Mr. Hendrickson, I'm going to take up your matter. Then Victoria and Ray, I'll take up your matter. Judy Wimmert.
Hi, Judge. On Mr. Michael Trejo,
Yes.
I conferred with Ryan, and he needs about 30 days to look into some things regarding the complainant and some newer cases. So a 30-day reset is requested by both parties.
Judge, he has some indicted and some unindicted cases. I want to get her an offer that takes into account everything.
All right, Ms. Ferguson on Trejo, can I have a 30-day reset, please? Just give us a moment. All right. I have May 16th.
That'd be perfect, Judge.
All right, and is your client in custody or on bond?
He is in custody. He's present.
All right, then unless you have something else, you are excused.
Thank you, Judge. And Mr. Trejo may be excused as well.
He'll need to wait on the Zoom, and then we will have a deputy make sure that he's been excused. They don't allow them to walk around.
Oh, understood. Don't get shot. Just stay where you're at, Mr. Trejo. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right, Mr. Fox, who do you have?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have Deshandra McAfee. I've conferred with the state. I was on the phone with my client to kind of discuss the the state's offer a little bit further with her. Today is our plea deadline. So if I just have maybe 15 more minutes, I'll have an announcement for the state, I mean, for the court, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. So next, we're going to take up this pro tem matter with Sean Hendrickson. And who is the pro tem?
Colin Ashworth, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And to the clerks, do you have that document I gave to you, please? If I could have it. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 11566, State of Texas, thank you, versus Chris Gonzalez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Colin Ashworth for the state, Your Honor.
For the defense?
Sean Hendrickson for the defense.
And are you Chris Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
None from the state.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Gonzalez, do you have any objections with this hearing taking place by video?
No, Judge.
And the court will note for the record, we did have a hearing on the motion to dismiss for denial of speedy trial by video as well. And that hearing took place on, I believe, March 24th. After consideration of both argument and the evidence that was presented by both parties, the court is denying defense's motion to dismiss. And this will be set for a jury trial as soon as possible. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a jury trial date for Mr. Gonzalez, please? And if you could put that in the chat box. Defense, have you received all discovery in this matter?
I believe so, Judge.
Has an offer been tendered?
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
Judge.
And Mr. Gonzalez, are you rejecting that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
You're requesting a jury trial?
Yeah.
And Judge, I'll confer with my client also to make sure that he knows that what his options are, given now that we have your ruling on this matter.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room so you can confer with your client because I'm going to give him a jury trial date. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4, and if the pro tem can remain, please.
Ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Roberto Ramirez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
I'm in the courtroom now, but I'm in Zoom. I
it's
just
probably
need to get
best
it-
that you not be inside of the courtroom on Zoom because we get feedback.
Get outside. Okay, I just need to confirm with my client and going over the plea documents. I've already signed them from the ADA.
All right, who is your client?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can you say that again?
Who is your client?
Wayne Rowlands.
Is he in custody or on bond?
He's in custody, Your Honor. He's still there. I saw him on the list.
Oh, Rawlings, okay,
Yes, Rowlands, sorry.
no problem. Mr. Rawlings, if you can go to breakout room number 9 with your attorney, please. All right, and Tony Jimenez.
Yes, Judge. For some reason, I was kicked out of the breakout room. I never had an opportunity to speak to any ADA.
All right, who's your client?
His name is Jose Espinosa,
Criminal trial division or family violence?
criminal trial judge.
All right. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Hernandez. I'm sorry, Mr. Jimenez. I'm going to
Yes.
send you to number 5.
Yes, Judge.
All right, and is there a prosecutor available to take up the matter of David Hernandez?
We were speaking to Mike about that, Judge.
I'm present, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 1005W, State of Texas versus David Edward Hernandez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Raymond Martinez.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, this is actually, there's a motion to revoke. Are we ready to proceed on the motion to revoke or no?
Judge, you set us for a contested hearing in May on that a couple of days ago.
All right, thank you. I see in the document sheet is for May 2nd for contested. So we are here for what purpose? Is it for the motion to modify bond restrictions?
Yes, Judge.
All right. State, have you had a chance to review the defense's motion?
I have, Your Honor.
Are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, defense, it's your motion.
Judge, the state pointed out to us that what we were requesting is not necessarily prohibited by pretrial conditions. Mr. Hernandez wants to return to a house where he used to live with the complainant. Because the complainant is moved out and doesn't live there and the house is vacant, he wants to go back there. But somebody in pretrial decided because that address was attached to her at some point, he's been prohibited from going there, even though no judge has ever told him he couldn't live there. They've told him he couldn't live there because they think, well, they see a problem. So my suggestion, Judge, the state did try to contact the complainant to verify she's not there. I don't think they've had success doing that. We're asking the court to issue an order allowing him to go to that address. And we're happy with the court putting a proviso that as long as she's not there, because we are not asking to change the no contact order. It's still in place.
State.
Yeah, all those things are true, Your Honor. As far as his conditions of bond are concerned, I've looked at both the pending case as well as the MTR, and they both say no contact. We attempted to reach out to the complainant in this case to see where she is residing, and we have been unsuccessful in contacting her. So we're just asking, obviously, that the no contact be continued as the defense has agreed. But we're just unable to offer the court or provide for the court the fact that she's actually not residing there anymore.
All right, then what I will put in the order is the defendant's residence restrictions are removed. However, the no contact order with, I'm assuming it's Savannah Hernandez.
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then I will add, just so it's clear, there's to be no contact with Savannah Hernandez. But the court is lifting residence restrictions. So, Mr. Hernandez,
Sir,
you are allowed to live where you live. But if for any reason you end up at 423 Jockey and the complainant is in residence there, that's a violation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Is there anything else from either side?
Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then you are excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
And just know that all of you will need to be in person on May 2nd for contested at 2.
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
All right, your excuse, Mr. Hernandez. All right, Derek Edmonds.
Hello, Judge. I have Vincent Asante Silva. It was from this morning. You're recalling it today for 2 o'clock to see if I was able to get a hold of him. I did get a different number from pretrial services. I was off by 1 digit from what was on my court appointment order. I was able to leave a message on that number. However, I've not got a return phone call as of yet. So I don't know if it's Mr. Silva's number or not, because there's no voicemail, just leave a message.
All right, we'll recall this for tomorrow. And if your client doesn't appear, then a warrant may be issued for his arrest.
All right, Judge. And I'm assuming that'll be at 9 o'clock with a different Zoom link?
Yes,
Okay. All right, thank you, Judge. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
thank you. Ms. Ferguson, Vicente Silva is going to be recalled for tomorrow at 9 a.m. All right, your excuse.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
You too. Sean Hendrickson. You're on mute.
Sorry about that, Judge.
That's okay.
So I've had a chance to confer with my client, and I'd like to, I guess, confer with the pro tem Colin Ashworth, and see if we can work out a deal today, Judge.
All right, thank you. So if you'll go to breakout room number 3, and just one moment for the pro tem.
Thank you.
All right, to the pro tem, you're a co-host. You can go to there as well. All right, Ernest Acevedo.
Good afternoon, Judge. I've conferred with Michael Villarreal. Would it be possible to speak to you in a breakout room?
All right, just one moment. Let me send the pro tem where I need him to go. I'm going to send you to number 3. Yeah. Just one moment before I go to breakout room with you. Raphael Leal.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, you're back here.
Yes, Your Honor.
For which case?
Omar Colunga.
Yes, what is happening with Kalunga?
Well, I'd like to confer with the prosecution if possible.
Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
Criminal trial division.
Sending you to number 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Lorraine Efron.
Yes, Your Honor. We are actively conferring with Ryan Groomer, but we'll need a little bit of additional time. And so I'm asking for some time for like a final plea deadline. Or he's agreed to leave the offer open for 45 days. I don't know what the court's timing is on the resets, if you will give us one.
All right, do you have the discovery in this matter?
I that's one thing I need to talk to Ryan about. There may be some reports that I need to download, or he needs to get me, I'm not sure.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on David Rodriguez, can I have a 30-day reset, please? All right, we'll be back on May 9th. You and your client are excused.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Is that that's not a trial setting, is it?
No, that's not.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Monica Guerrero.
I have a plea ready. We've already finished the paperwork for Mr. Juventino Sanchez, but I need to confer with CTD on Mr. Derek Sherrod, who's also here.
Okay. Let me see. And do you know if your client has signed all the paperwork? Because the clerks have not given me anything on Sanchez.
I went through the paperwork with him, but I was not able to screen share to make sure he did, but he said he did.
All right, I'm gonna send you to number one. And I'm gonna send Mr. Sanchez. Let me see if I can find him. I'm gonna send him to number one as well, and I'm gonna send the clerks to number one.
Okay.
All right, to the clerks, if you could go to breakout room number one, please.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, David Cuellar.
Yes, Your Honor. I have Jonathan Huerta. We conferred earlier today and got an offer from the state. It's kind of contingent on him taking a plea in the misdemeanor case out of County Court 6.
And have you contacted County Court 6 to see when they could do that?
Well, I went there after this, I guess at noon after I got out of your court, Your Honor, and there was nobody there. I probably still need to make some calls and see how soon they can do that.
All right, you want to call and see?
Certainly.
All right, thank you. All right, Barry Hitchens.
Oh, yeah, back again. Yeah, I conferred with my client, Stephen Velasquez, and I think you wanted to see him. He had turned down the plea offer, and you wanted him to come back. His phone was losing power, and so he had about an hour to charge it up. And so I think he's back, and I think you wanted to talk to him.
Where is your client?
Well, I think you said he was on the screen earlier.
No, he's not anywhere here.
Oh, boy.
He was, but who knows where he is now?
I guess his phone's lost power again.
All right, tell him to come back on because he has to get a date.
Okay. Give him a call.
All right, and Mr. Acevedo, who are you conferring with?
Michael Villarreal.
All right, Michael Villarreal, are you available?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will meet you all in breakout room number 2.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And Mr. Acevedo, if you'll go to number 2, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Brandon Wright, if you can go to breakout room number 2, please. Brandon Wright, go to breakout room number 2. All right, Mr. Hendrickson.
Yes, Judge. So I've had a chance to talk with my client. I've also spoken with the prosecutor on the case, and we are working this out, Judge. I don't see this going to a trial. I guess we're trying to figure out how we may be able to handle pretrial diversion on this case, Judge. And so I'm going to reach out to the Bexar County DA's office about that. If we can't get that to work for whatever reason, then we do have another offer on the table that will.
Well, I don't think the Bexar County District Attorney's Office can be involved in any way in pretrial diversion because there's a pro tem.
I think that's probably true, Judge. But
So, I mean, they can't be involved.
And so, right. Okay. I guess then I still would like to reach out to them to find out to find out how other situations like ours have been able to work out that situation, Judge. But
I mean, I understand you want to reach out to them.
Okay.
But my understanding is the district attorney's office is recused. So there can be no reaching out to the district attorney's office about this. So it would seem that if there's going to be a pretrial diversion, that's something the pro tem has to do. Just give me one moment.
Sure.
All right, just give us a moment. We'll take that up. Justin Fox.
Yes, Your Honor. I've been speaking with my client. So my client is, I've spoken to her about our plea deadline and she does know about that. I'd like to request of the court it to be extended 2 weeks. So I've let her know of our trial fee. She's decided to go with John Kuntz for trial. So I've discussed with her the risks and benefits of going to trial or to move forward.
Let me ask you this, is John Kuntz the attorney on this case?
No, Your Honor. So we are still the attorneys of record, but it is my understanding from speaking with Ms. McAfee that she has already spoken with Mr. Kuntz and she's going to retain him and he's going to be filing into the case to take this to trial.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you put this next week for jury trial, please, on McAfee? All right, is that the 19th, Ms. Ferguson? All right, Ms. McAfee, where are you?
Your Honor.
All right, your jury trial is going to be April 19th at 9 a.m. You'll need to be dressed for trial and you need to appear in trial in person on April 19th at 9 a.m. All right, thank you, Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, it's Ryan. If I may, inmate Espinoza, I pinged him to go to his breakout room to talk to his attorney.
All right, thank you. Mr. Espinoza, you need to go to a breakout room to speak with your attorney. You've been requested to number 5.
Judge, if I may, this is Rafael Leal, and I don't see Mr. Colunga. He's in custody, but I don't see him.
Because you said you were coming back tomorrow.
Okay, so I can be there tomorrow as well.
All right, thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you tomorrow.
All right, amen.
All right, Mr. Hendrickson, someone should be here shortly to address your issues. Just give us a moment.
Thank you, Judge.
And while we're doing that, we're going to start up with the hearing that's in the courtroom. So, Mr. Hendrickson, as soon as the 2 persons come in, we'll take up your matter. All right, is the state ready on Huerta?
Yes, Judge, we're ready. Judge, we're waiting on the defendant.
We don't have Mr. Huerta here, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, just give me a moment. All right. Brenda, it's been a happy Monday on a Wednesday.
That's right. Yeah, it's okay. Still come to the stand. Still come to the stand. Yeah. But you don't need to stand because the mic's holding over. Yeah.
All right, and also Ms. Ferguson, can you see if you can have Mr. Myatt resume in, please? James Myatt. Court is calling 2019 CR 11721, State of Texas versus Roland Huerta. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Brittany Sparks.
for the defense?
Rick Ramos for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Huerta?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're proceeding by video. The court will note for the record that defense counsel and defendant and the state are in the courtroom. Any objections to this taking place by video, state?
No objection.
Defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Huerta, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right. For the record, the court is in receipt of a letter from Crystal Huerta, Clara Huerta, and there is an Angelic Huerta. I believe it's Angelica, but there is an A missing.
Angelique here.
All right. Is there any objections to the court reviewing these documents that were submitted to the court state?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. And for the record, both state and defense tendered these documents to the court in chambers, and the court was told by the state that there would be no objections. And so the court has reviewed those documents. All right, Mr. Huerta, the jury found you guilty in this matter. State, do you have any evidence to present for punishment?
No, Your Honor, just all of the evidence offered during trial.
All right. Defense.
Yes, Your Honor, we have some witnesses to present to the court, Your Honor.
All right, call your first witness, please.
Our first witness will be Mr. Michael Ibarra, Your Honor. Your Honor, do I have the court's permission to remain seated when addressing the court?
Yes, that will be best because the microphones will be able to pick up. I take it as no sign of disrespect. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record, please.
Michael A. Ibarra.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ibarra, can you tell the judge how long you've known Mr. Huerta?
I know Mr. Horta about 4 years.
How did you meet Roland?
One day I was headed to the corner store to go get some tacos for my wife and my mom, and I seen him there with his pickup truck and chipper. And I asked him if he needed any help. And he said yes. You know, he asked me if I was into any drugs, and I said no, I'm in the process of serving the Lord, and that caught his attention. So without him knowing me, he drove me back to my apartment. I dropped off the tacos, I changed, and I started working for him. And since then, I've been working for Roland.
Okay. For the 4 years that you've known Roland, how would you describe him as a person?
He's a real good man. He gave the shirt off his back for you. At the time he hired me, I didn't have any work boots. We went to Walmart and he purchased work boots and some shirts and stuff in that nature for me. So he's an awesome man.
Did he help you out in any other ways while you were working with him?
Yes, he did. Other than buying me breakfast and lunch. We were in need one time, and he helped my family and I with some money and some groceries. He also, I'm in recovery, and my sobriety means a lot to me. It's up there with my wife and God and my mom, and he knows that. So every Wednesday, he would cut our work hours short, and we would go to my NA classes, and he was a big support in my sobriety.
Okay. When you say he would cut the hours short, what do you mean?
Well, instead of working all day, he would on every Wednesday, instead of working all day till 5 or 6, we would get off at 4 every Wednesday. He would do that for me personally. And I don't know too many supervisors that would do that, but he would do that for me.
Okay. Would he take you to these meetings?
He would take me to the meetings, and he would sit there. When I hit my 3 years, he took me balloons and because in those classes they're called birthdays, because that's when you became sober. Right. So when I hit my 3, he took me balloons, and they had cake for me and everything there. So he was a big support in my NA.
Awesome. Did he ever help you out, like with church or anything like that?
Yes, he did. My wife and I are going to this church, and I felt that God spoke to me and I wanted to do, because I do landscaping also. So one day, instead of going to work, we went to the church and we did all the landscaping there. We cut the grass, we pruned some bushes, and so he helped me all day there. Instead of going to work, he helped me there at the church.
Did he get paid for that?
No, he didn't.
And is that a church that he would attend?
That's a church that I attended, but being a man of God, he did that out of his heart.
Do you feel that, Roland would benefit from being incarcerated a long time?
No, I do. No, I don't, sir. I feel that he should get the lightest sentence. That way he could be out here, provide for his family, provide for his wife, and continue with his two businesses. Right now, I'm out of a job, and he was a big support with my family and I. And that's where a lot of my income came from Roland and his businesses. Also, in his other business with the dogs, he would take my wife and I on to Houston, Dallas, and all suspense paid. Him and his wife would pay everything. And even after that, on the way back, I wasn't expecting it. He still gave me money for going and not so much, I guess, yeah, you could call it working with him, but just supporting him and his family.
Okay. Do you think Roland is the type of person who, once he's released, will, be out there getting in trouble or anything like that?
No, I don't, sir. I feel that he won't come out and be a menace to society or nothing like that. I think no, I don't think, I know he will pursue his two jobs and walk that straight line, sir.
Thank you, sir. I pass Mr. Ibarra.
State.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, we would call Pastor Christian Torres.
All right, Mr. Torres, if you can raise your right hand for me, please.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you state your name for the record, please.
My name for the record is Christian. My last name is Torres.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Torres, how long have you known Roland?
I have known Roland for approximately 2 years now, sir.
How did you meet?
We met through outreach. Part of it is having to do with our nonprofit organization that we have here in San Antonio. We work very close with Chief McMahon, the sheriff of San Antonio, Sheriff Salazar. We do a lot of community outreach, just tons of different departments. And we were doing outreaches, and he had come and said that he wanted to be part of that. He wanted to take part in that. And I said, of course, because he has such a willingness to work and to give to others without asking anything in return. So that's why he came, he was part of that.
What's your role there with the outreach, sir?
I actually have two. So I'm the founder of JLIMC.org. It's a nonprofit outreach. We do a lot of suicide awareness, also substance. I went to school for LCDC also as well. So having to do with, recovery. We have men's homes that we're connected with, making sure that they're placed in the right place and direction and that they get the help that they need. So part of it is I am the founder and I am a director of our organization. And the other one is I am part of many other nonprofit organizations such as Eagles Flights. You have so many with SAPD also as well. So.
In your time with Roland, how would you describe him as a person?
A loving man, a changed man. And just for the record, Your Honor, if I may, I had some food to eat after the break, so I'm trying to speak as much as I can when my stomach filled, but thank God for that. A loving husband to his children. We've had countless conversations as well as discipleship on a lot of the Word of God, which has to do with character, how to turn the other cheek, how to love thy neighbor, and the things that we need as human beings today to be able to love one another. And I've seen nothing but that in him. He even came to my house, which is rare as pastors. Sometimes we don't invite everyone to our homes. It's more private. He came down to my house with his, I think it was his father-in-law. And we had like a 3-4 hour conversation. And it was just beautiful to see where his heart is at for people and his love for his family, which is just amazing. And how thankful his heart is for what God has done in his life.
Do you feel that Roland will benefit from being incarcerated a long time?
Very much. Reason being is his beautiful family, as I witnessed outside. His entire family being there, hardworking man, and not just that, but one who serves, one who is a laborer and doesn't.
Excuse me, just a moment. I believe the question was, do you believe he would benefit from being in custody for a long time? And your answer was very much.
I am sorry.
No, I mean, I'm just listening to what your answer after that appears to suggest your feelings are otherwise, but I just wanted that to be clear since I'm determining punishment.
Yeah, it's the opposite. I don't think he would benefit from being incarcerated at all, just because of everything that he does already for the church, for his family, for friends, for ministers like myself. He is definitely a blessing.
Do you feel that Roland is the type of person who, once released, will be out, causing trouble or reoffending or anything of that nature?
Not at all. Not at all. And the reason I say this is because, when this had taken place, Roland called me and we prayed. And prayer was that, that God help him in this situation. God knows. So we prayed and that was really it. So he's not that type of person at all that would be harming anybody's way. And can I add something? If it's okay.
Sure. What do you have to add?
I want to add that I was part of the VTC program also here with Judge Christian, court number 6 for the VTC program, which is the Veterans Treatment Court, which I also had the opportunity to work very close with a lot of people that were in recovery, a lot of Marines, Army, Navy, being that I'm a veteran myself. And I've seen a lot of men. We've assisted so many men. So when I come eye to eye and just listen to them, I'm also a counselor. I counsel people. And just by seeing him, just by hearing him, and just by witnessing him, he's not a threat at all.
Thank you, sir. I pass the word.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're excused. Call your next witness.
We would call Mr. Carlos Paget.
I'm sorry, what is the last name?
Paget is P as in Papa, A as in Alpha, D as in Delta, G as in Golf, E as in Echo, and T as in Thomas, and it's a double T.
And everyone, just one moment. Mr. Hendrickson, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Okay.
And I'm going to send the pro tem to number 2. And Ms. Paulison, if you could go to breakout room number 2, please. All right, we're back on the record. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
My name is Carlos R. Paget.
All right, defense?
Can I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Paget, can you let us know how long you've known Roland?
I know Roland for about 5 to maybe 6, 7 years.
How did you meet?
He came knocking on my door offering his tree trimming services.
And did that ultimately lead to developing some sort of friendship later on down the road?
Yes.
Can you describe that to the court, please?
So He was kind enough to offer his services in a payment plan. He was, I guess, trustworthy in that sense, and so he did the job, finished the job. He asked me what I did for a living. I briefly explained it to him. He became somewhat interested in what I did. He said he may be interested in learning how to do it. A year passed, and I eventually ran into him at the bank. Again, we had small talk about what I did for a living. He again mentioned maybe he'd like to learn to do it. I do utility installation services with the city. And again, it was just small talk, and we went our own ways. And roughly maybe another year passed, and we happened to run into each other again. I was doing a job off San Pedro, and I needed someone to. I had a problem, had an issue with getting some concrete out of there, and right as at about 4 o'clock, when I needed to get this out of there, I could not get in haulers to get to the job site to do that for me, and he was passing by. He had his trailer with him. He thought, you know, he could help me with getting that out. Just give him some time. He went out and emptied his trailer, came back, and he took all that concrete for it. And that right there, I'm sorry.
I said, and what happened after that?
Yeah, and that right there, ever since then, we've been closer. We got closer. He started giving time to come around my jobs. He wanted to see exactly what it is that I did, and he not only himself, but he would bring his workers to help out. And there was never any agreement to pay him, but he would offer the services just because he wanted to learn what I was doing. And eventually, he learned it and opened up his own company doing exactly what I did. He has a company established under which he does non-same services.
And were you willing to just, teach anybody, kind of what you do? Would you let anybody do that for you?
I have always, I've had many other people. Yes, always been open to the idea of just teaching whoever wants to, as long as they want to work, I guess.
How did you see Roland as he was learning these
Well,
things?
he was different because he really meant, what he said. He would come around. He would come around and spend a day and invest his whole time the whole day, just they're working with me just because he wanted to learn it. And he would also bring his employee with him.
Did you ever feel that Roland was like any sort of troublemaker or anything like that?
No, not at all. So as time went on, I learned what the kind of man he is, and I want to direct this.
How would you describe him as a man?
Yeah, I want to direct this to the family because I don't want anybody else. I don't want anybody to tell you guys any different than what I know your dad to be. That's a great person. This is very touching to me. It hurts because I know what, Your Honor, I don't know what happened here. I don't know the details to what happened here. But I don't know what perception the court may have of this man, but this is not the man that I know. This is a loving man, like the pastor mentioned. This is a loving man. He's a man of God. Like I told the attorney earlier, I don't like to play not to, with all due respect to anyone who brings it up, but a lot of times people like to, I guess, want to mention, bring out the religious card, but, to try to maybe persuade some sort of leniency, and I'm not trying to do that here. I know this. He's different. He's very helpful, extremely helpful. Without any interest, but to learn how to do something for the benefit of his family. He's a working man. He's a hardworking man. I love you, brother.
I passed the witness.
State?
Yes, just a few, Your Honor. Mr. Paget, do you know why we're here today?
Like I said, I really don't know what happened.
Are you aware that Roland Puerta was found guilty of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon?
No, it's not.
Are you aware that he was found guilty of threatening a man's life with a chainsaw?
You know, I never asked him I never cared to know what had happened. One time I guess he briefly tried to explain to me what happened, and he got to the point where he mentioned mentioned there was an issue going on. He'd been having court trial reset and eventually I now learned what happened, but I did not know what happened.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing further from you.
All right, thank you. Call your next witness.
We would call Ms. Irma Gonzalez.
Could you raise your right hand for me, please? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
My name is Irma Gonzalez.
All right, just so the record can be clear, defense and state, I believe this is the witness that you both stated wanted to read a letter to the.
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, and my understanding is there were no objections to this witness being allowed to read a letter. Is that correct, State?
Yes, Your Honor, there's no objection.
All right, so Ms. Gonzalez, my understanding is that you have a letter to read on behalf of your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may read your letter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Irma Gonzalez, and I am Roland Huerta's mother. I come before you today to provide information about my son and plead with the court about considering a light sentence or even probation for the crime for which he was found guilty. I am proud to say that Roland Huerta has always been a good son. No one is perfect, and that includes my son. But I am here to tell you about some of the things that my son does for me and his family. He has been a good son. He has been a good husband. And he also has been a great daddy as well. My son is a responsible man. He will resume the responsibility for the crime he committed. And he also talked about wanting to pay his debt to society. He has always been that way. I know this because I am his mother and have seen how even when it turns out that he isn't right, he still takes full responsibility for his actions. I have been told by son's attorney that I can make a plea on behalf of my son. So that is why I would like to do today. My son now is 38 years old. He is a full-grown man. And he is the father of 4 children, including Angelique, who is 17, Clara, who is 14, Israel, who is 12, and Joshua, who just turned 6. I have seen my son raise 4 children, and I am very proud to say that my son has done an excellent job as a parent. He takes them to their volleyball games and soccer practice. He takes them to their doctor's appointment. He attends all their games and events. He provides them with a life and a great standing of living. 2 of my grandchildren have special needs. My granddaughter, Angelique, was molested when she was 7 years old and is still recovering from the trauma that it's caused. My son is the one who takes her to her doctor's appointment, which take place every 2 weeks. My daughter-in-law works night shift, and she is unable to take Angelique at times for her appointment during the day. My son always has done this since Angelique was 7 years old. My other grandchild, Clara, has ADHD and has mood disorder. She also has a speech problem and requires special therapy to correct her speech pattern. She is also learning to deal with some of this. This means that somebody, which is my son, has to pick Clara from school and take her to her appointments with her speech therapist and her doctors. This usually means that Clara has to stay after school too, twice a week for additional appointments with other therapists that take place off campus. My son is the parent who has always assumed the responsibilities for taking Clara to all her appointments. Again, my son is not perfect. And as his mother, I know my son and all his imperfections. But as his mother, I also know my son's heart and knows that he has came a long way since his mid-20s. Before that, he did things that could be considered irresponsible. But since that time, he has grown to be an adult. Assumed responsibilities that he has even started promoting his businesses. One, he has blessed on blessed with his Frenchie dogs. Two, A&A Civil Construction. Three, his tree service, San Antonio Quality Tree Service, where he does yard work, landscaping, and tree trimming. Roland is a hardworking man who works 7 days a week to provide for his family. The level of responsibility that my son has shown to his wife, his children, sets an example for his kids. He wants them to grow productive citizens. He wants them to make positive contributions to our community. He wants them to be independent and self-sufficient so they will never have to depend on anybody and anything. I believe his children are very lucky to have such a wonderful father as an example for how hard he works and focuses will pay off at the end. In addition to being a great father, my son is also a great son. Several years ago, I was diagnosed with lobular carcinoma, which is type of a breast cancer. This is a very aggressive cancer that there is no cure for. The doctors had only gave me 3 months to live. I am happy to say that I am 1 in a million to survive. I did eventually undergo surgery 6 months later. I got an additional news. I was diagnosed with uterus cancer. Apparently, the breast cancer had spread to other parts of my body. You know how they say that sometimes the cure can be worse than the disease. In my case, because one of the medicines that I had been prescribed, which was toxamoxone, damaged my liver, and now I also suffer from my kidneys because of my diabetes. So now I have my kidneys and my liver failing. Though all these medical setbacks, there has been one person who has always been there for me. Roland is the only one who has really taken care of me. He calls me several times a day just to make sure that I'm doing fine. He'll bring me food so I can eat. He takes me to my doctor's appointments. He stays with me overnight when I'm really sick. He has been a wonderful and caring son. Roland brushed with the law has already affected his family. My son has been in jail since March 23rd, and because of this, his children have already been forced to look for work because their dad no longer able to contribute to the family. Two of my grandchildren, Clara and Israel, are now working at the flea market to raise money for the family. My oldest grandchild, Angelique, takes college courses on Saturday, which her dad used to take her. But now she's having to drop out of these classes because she needs to help his mother with the bills. I understand that this court has discretions when it comes to sentencing. My son wants to pay his debt to society, and I know he will do that. But Your Honor, please understand that when you sentence my son, you will be sentencing my grandchildren. You will all be sentencing his wife and me. My grandchildren are innocent of all this. They rely on their father for everything. If my son goes to jail for a long time, he will lose his businesses, his clients, and because of this, he may lose his kids because they no longer be in a position to care for them and all their needs. I depend on my son for more than just rides to the doctor's office. He does all sorts of things for me at the house. He fixes everything that is broken. He cares for my yard. He takes care of my cars when they're not working. I depend on him so much. I am asking as a mother and a grandmother to give my son Roland the lightest innocence in your case, Your Honor. He did wrong and he will pay for his debt to society. I am simply asking that you try to place your shoes in my grandchildren's and his wife and me as his mother to make the decision about my son's future. Please try to give him probation, Your Honor. I will give you my word that I will do anything to keep my son, that this will never happen again. Please give us all the possibilities, considerations, especially for my little granddaughter, Jocelyn, who really needs him at home. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, Your Honor.
You're muted, Judge.
Are there any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, the court is not in a position to give your son probation. He's not eligible for probation.
Okay.
All right. So the only thing that the court is in position to do and what we're here to decide today is how much time he will be given. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any other more witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, one more, Ms. Crystal Huerta.
All right, if you come forward, please. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record, please.
My name is Crystal Huerta.
Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you tell the judge your relation to Roland?
I'm his wife. We've been married for 3 years, but I've known him since I was 13.
Okay. How many children do you have?
I have 4. My daughter's 17, she's about to be 18. She's a junior in high school. I have a 14-year-old, she's a 7th grader. My son is 12, he's a 7th grader, and my biggest one is in kinder, she's 6.
How long have you and Roland been together?
About 19 years.
How have you seen Roland affected by this case since it happened in 2018?
Very timid, worried, not himself because, you know, he didn't want to be away from his family, scared. You know, he would cry to make it, you know, anxiety, you know, not himself.
How would you describe him as a person outside of, you know, what happened with this case?
Outside of this case, he's loving, he's caring, he goes beyond to help anybody that's in need. A helping hand, we've gone multiple times to go feed the homeless. We've gone multiple times to help people that are in need with cascarones, even if it was like God's day, but we just did it out of courtesy to let people know that it's not, we've been in that situation where we had nothing. We had a home that, you know, Roland bought at 22 years old. It wasn't the best of the home, but he made it the best of the home, a loving home.
How has the family been affected now that Roland has been incarcerated?
Very affected. My daughter, Clara, goes to sleep with her dad's coat, crying every day. My oldest daughter, she cries before going to school. They ask questions when he's back on home. My son, he hasn't been spoken to his dad for like about a week and a half. I'm not sure if he's angry, frustrated, confused.
Financially, how would Roland help you in the home?
We work as a team. We're a good team. God has put us together and we work as a team. I would go on my days off from work. I used to be a detention officer, so on my days off, I would go and assist Roland on his jobs.
You say used to be, what do you do now for them?
I'm an SAPD missing persons agent. I've been there for a year. Previously, before that, I was a detention officer at juvenile for 8.5 years.
You understand why we're here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and being that you know, work as detention and with SAPD and whatnot, do you feel that Roland is the type of person from what you've seen at home that once he's released is going to be out getting in trouble or reoffending or anything like that?
No, sir. Not at all. He puts his family first. I know he still does his will, but he's very caring. His family comes first, and he always says God's first, and then his family, and anything else whatever he could do.
Okay. Do you think that Roland would benefit from being incarcerated a long time?
No, I don't think he should be incarcerated.
Could you just say that one more time? Were you able to hear?
I heard.
Oh, you heard? Okay. You don't believe he should be
No,
incarcerated?
sir.
I passed the witness.
State, any questions?
Yes, Judge, just a few. Ms. Huerta, when did you meet Roland?
Imagine when I was 13 years old.
Do you know what year about that was?
My daughter was born in 2004, so I'm gonna say 2003.
Did you know him when he was on probation for possession of controlled substance?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Okay.
I found out later through my mother-in-law. She wasn't my mother-in-law at the time, we were just dating, but I found out later.
And when you found that out, were you aware that he was actually revoked from his probation and sentenced to 5 years in prison?
No, ma'am. At that time, I had already was pregnant, and I want to say my daughter was like 6 or 7 months already when Roland did serve time, and he only served 6 months.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions for the witness?
Nothing further. Your Honor.
All right, you may step down. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear argument. State.
Yes, Your Honor, and before I proceed, I would just like to point out something about the PSI to the court. We just would like to make note that there were no interviews conducted on the victims or the defendant.
All right, thank you. And has the defense had a chance to review the PSI report?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Do you rest in close, state?
Oh, we just have argument, Your Honor.
All right. Do you rest in close as far as evidence is concerned?
Oh, yes, Judge. Yes.
Defense, do you rest in close?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear brief argument. State.
Yes, Judge. Although Roland Huerta does not have violent criminal history, he does have a criminal history. In addition to that, he has not taken responsibility for his actions on that day in March of 2018. He did not have to testify during trial, but he chose to. He also chose to take the stand and tell the court and the jury a ridiculous version of what happened that day. If it were not for Rigoberto's brother, Manuel, this could have ended in a much worse situation. The defendant put himself in that situation. He is the one who escalated it to the point of threatening Rigoberto's life with a chainsaw. And then he came to the court and he tried to play the victim. It's clear from the witness testimony that you heard today, as well as in several of the letters, that Roland still has not taken responsibility to this day. Several of the letters mention that he did not do what he was found guilty of, and that he had to defend himself, which is not what he was found guilty of as well. For those reasons, Your Honor, based on his criminal history, the facts of this case, and his failure to take responsibility for his actions, we're asking that you sentence him to 5 years in TDC.
Defense.
Yes, Your Honor. Respectfully, we would have to wholeheartedly disagree with the state on this, Your Honor. Those letters were written while Mr. Huerta has been incarcerated. He has no control over what others are going to say. There's no doubt about it that Mr. Huerta is ready to take responsibility. He knows what happened that day was wrong, and I know there's not an ounce of him that doesn't regret what happened that day, Your Honor. I can't sit here and tell you that I agree with the laws of the state of Texas, but as you know, and I know, Your Honor, we're bound to follow them. And unfortunately, at 38 years old, Mr. Huerta sitting before you ineligible for probation because of something that happened when he was 19, Judge. Hasn't been in trouble a day since, other than some traffic violations that I believe you'll see there on the PSI, Judge. As the court can see, we've got a multitude of people, and I had a whole bunch more that wanted to be here on his behalf. We had another pastor for you as well who just wasn't able to return this afternoon, Judge. He has the support of his family. He has the support of this community. There's not one person that's come before you and told you that he's a bad guy. This was just one isolated event, Your Honor, that things got out of hand, and he knows it was wrong, and there's not a doubt that he regrets it, Your Honor, but he's just ready to move on with his life, Judge. As you know, I know you've been on this other side of the table, Judge, and we've dealt with some pretty colorful characters, and there's not many people that I would vouch for, Judge, but this is a client that I know shouldn't be in prison, but due to the circumstances, it's unfortunately where we know he's going. We're just asking for the court to have leniency and mercy and sentence him for the shortest time possible, Judge. He's not that kind of guy. He's not the type of person who needs to be in there. I know that Roland is the type of person that will make the best out of anywhere that he's at, right? And I know that he'll take advantage of any classes or anything that's going to be offered to him in TDC. He's just that type of person who's willing to learn and make himself better for himself and for his family. But I just don't think that he's going to benefit from being in TDC for a long time, Your Honor. The shortest time is the best, which is why we would ask that in this situation, Your Honor, he do get the minimum and that the court sentence him to 2 years, Your Honor.
All right. Does your client wish to say anything?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. What would you like to say?
Thank you, Mother, for all your early mornings and late night.
All right, so Mr. Werther, let me explain something to you. This is not going to be a letter to your family.
Okay.
This is about this case. So if you want to speak to your family, you need to do that at the Bexar County Jail or during visitation.
Understand, Your Honor.
So is there anything you wanted to say in regard to this case
Yes, Your Honor.
concerning your actions?
Yes, Your Honor.
What would you like to say?
Okay. I know I've had been in trouble in the past, in the future, and I made wrong mistakes in the future. I didn't have any direction at that age. I didn't know where I was going in life. I was hanging around the wrong people, making wrong decisions. And I learned from them. And it's something that I have to live with, that I put my own daughter in that position that made a big change in my life for me to take my responsibilities. And then I always thought I didn't have a father until finally I realized I always had a father there that I can talk to at any time. That was when I realized that Roland that you see on that paper with those mistakes, that Roland had to die and it had to change for the better of myself first before I can help my family. Ever since then, I had to learn that I had a mission that I was called to do, and being that I was starting to be a pastor of my own home first. And then from there to teach them how to serve others before, and let that man live out through them, so that nobody sees me anymore.
All right, so Mr. Werther, did you want to say anything about this case and about your actions in this case? That's the court's question. If not, then that's completely up to you, but that is the court's question.
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for everything that happened that day, Your Honor. And may you just have leniency and just whatever God puts in your heart. That's all I have to say, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Werther?
No, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor, just a few. Roland, you said that you had to change because of what happened that day. What happened that day?
That day, Your Honor, I was still set free. I was still given another chance. And I was still being that still same old Roland. So when I was that still same old Roland, I would still go to families' houses to smoke weed. And during that time, I thought my family was safe, and I put my own daughter in a situation that we have to live with for the rest of our lives.
All right, so just 1 second. When we're saying, when the state asks their question that day, what day are you speaking of, Mr. Werther?
I'm speaking about the day my daughter got molested.
And just to clarify, Your Honor, and Mr. Huerta, I'm talking about the day of the offense on March 5th of 2018.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I just asked you what happened on that day, on March 5th of 2018, the day of the incident.
Just apologize, Your Honor, for that day.
All right, any other questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any follow-up questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court has heard arguments from both sides. Court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is not a plea bargain case. You do have a right to appeal. I'm sorry, who is that?
This is his daughter, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, she's gonna have to step back behind the bar. Everyone, you just can't run to the court and you just can't run into the well of the court. So I'm gonna have you take a seat.
Am I able to speak on my dad's behalf?
No, you're gonna have to take a seat. Thank you. All right, so it's the court has announced its sentence. Mr. Huerta, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Huerta, good luck to you. You're welcome.
Your Honor, in the here before he gets taken back.
No, the deputies are in charge of courtroom security. And I believe the deputies are going to say no to that because they're in charge of courtroom security. But counsel, I do have a copy of the Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal, and the clerks will give that to you. Thank you.
We'll come grab you now. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Cox, what is happening with Mr. Escalante?
Judge, we resolved that by way of there's going to be a plea to the MTR. So I'm just waiting on some paperwork from the, I don't know where it comes from, the clerk or your coordinator.
It will come from the coordinator.
Okay, so I'm just waiting on that, Judge.
All right, the court, is there a prosecutor available on Juventino Sanchez? Mr. Sanchez? Is there a prosecutor available to take this plea?
Mr. Villarreal is the one that did the paperwork, but I don't know if he went to a breakout room.
All right, just give me a moment. I think there may be some slight issues in the courtroom, so just give us a moment.
Judge, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was sending our investigator down to the courtroom to go hang out.
We're good to go. If you like.
Are we okay in there, Brenna?
Yes, everything's fine.
All right, court is calling 2022 CR 1441, State of Texas versus Juventino Sanchez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal.
For the state of Texas. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, Judge, I had to run somewhere. I'm just back. I'm sorry.
No problem. For the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Monica Guerrero for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mrs. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you
Yes.
electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you what's entitled discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, state's proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury to a family member or household member.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, married cohabitation as a Class A misdemeanor? The range of punishment for that offense is up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right for jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call them the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargaining agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any offenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
He is, Your Honor.
Mr. Sanchez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, married cohabitation. Punishment is to be assessed at 141 days in the Bexar County Jail. There's a $0 fine. There are no applications. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, and both state and defense are telling me that this is a judgment satisfied. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any
Okay.
evidence? Sorry.
Mr. Sanchez put on his paperwork, no contest earlier.
No contest.
Low contender.
All right, so are you pleading guilty, not guilty, or no contest, Mr. Sanchez?
No contest.
All right, state, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, state offers states exhibit number 1 and its attachments.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call on the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Villarreal, is the complainant aware of these proceedings?
She's aware today, Your Honor, and she's communicated with us regarding her sentiments involving the case.
All right. Then the court will follow your agreement, sentence you while finding you guilty of the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, married cohabitation, sentencing you to 141 days in the Bexar County Jail, giving you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. Court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing? State?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Sanchez, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you, Mr. Sanchez. Seems like from reading that you should not be in a relationship. You're not mature enough to be in one. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Norma Sanchez can go back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And also number Trejo can go back if he has not been excused already.
And then for the court, I need to update you when you have the chance on Mr. Sherrod.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Sherrod?
So I've conferred with Mr. Grimmer. Apparently it was somebody else's case before. He needs a little bit more time to contact the complainant in the case before he can give me an offer. It's
All
a
right.
first, I believe.
Ms. Ferguson or Mr. Sherrod, can you recall this in 1 month, please? And at that time, the state will make an offer for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be back on May 16th.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Just 1 moment. Ms. Ferguson may want to speak to you about a matter. Mr. Sherrod, you're excused. We'll see you back on May 16th.
And Judge, I did talk to her about that matter, and I think the defendant should be in the courtroom.
All right, just give me a moment. To the courtroom. And what is the defendant's name, Ms. Ferguson?
I think it's Hannah Smith. Hannah Smith.
All right, Hannah Smith. And we have an issue with your client, Ms. Guerrero. Your client was driving and vaping, and she's charged with intoxication manslaughter. I don't know what the conditions are, but she may not be leaving the courtroom today.
Okay.
It depends on what her conditions are.
Okay. Is there any way to set her up on a computer right now to talk to me in private so I
Yes.
can find out what's going on?
Yes, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Courtroom, if you could go to breakout room number 1, please. All right, and the parties were here on the pro tem matter. Hendrickson.
They're both in the breakout room, Judge, still, breakout room 2.
All right, thank you. Anton Hayek. Anton Hayek. All right then. Tony Jimenez.
Yes, Judge, I did confer with Ryan. He tendered an offer. I conferred with my client. He wants to talk to family to make a decision whether he wants to accept the plea or not.
And this is Jose Espinoza.
Yes, Judge, he's indicted in one, and he's a nightmag on the unlawfully carrying.
All right, Mr. Espinoza. I'm going to give, you need to unmute, sir.
Hold it down.
Yes.
Your Honor.
How old are you, Mr. Espinoza?
I'm 41, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing, parents, thank you, Brenna. Parents would like for you to call them before you have any pending charges, not come to them after the fact. You understand? So
Yes,
I'm
Your
gonna
Honor.
give you a reset date so you can speak to whomever you need to speak to.
Is there a way possible I could just go ahead and sign for a minimum?
I'm not here negotiating anything with you.
Okay.
My understanding is that the state has made an offer and your attorney has delivered that offer to you. Is that correct, Mr. Jimenez?
Yes, Judge.
So whatever that offer is, and the court does not know what that offer is, and the court does not want to know what that offer is unless there's going to be a plea on that offer. So how much time do you need to speak with anyone, or would you like to accept the plea that's been tendered? Mr. Espinoza.
Sorry, ma'am. I could speak to him today, but
No,
I'll go ahead and just take the plea.
I'm not forcing you to take a plea.
No, I know that, Your Honor. I know that, Your Honor. Is that I've already been out too many times. And I know they need me out there. I accept the full responsibility that what I did was wrong. I know I'm guilty on it.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. I don't.
Yeah.
Mr.
Judge,
Jimenez.
Yes, Judge. Very quickly, Judge, based on my conversations with him, I think he's going to need to talk to his wife about this. He's not really certain about taking the plea offer. Just give us a short period, Your Honor, and we'll be able to respond to you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 2-week reset, please, on Jose Espinoza? Is that enough time, Mr. Jimenez?
Yes, Judge, but again, I have that vacation letter on file.
Okay, when
Can
is
I
your
get that-
vacation?
I'm sorry, Judge.
When is your vacation?
It's the end of April and the first week of May.
All right, so when do you want to come back on this case?
Yes, okay, what's the Friday after the 6th? May 1?
The Friday after the 6th will be May 13th.
May 13th, Your Honor?
All right. Mr. Espinoza, is May 13th enough time for you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then May 13th is going to be your plea deadline date, Mr. Espinoza. After that date, the court will not accept any plea bargains. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I can't do May 13th.
I'm sorry, Norma. I forgot to check with you. Forgive me. What date, Ms. Ferguson? May 16th.
Yes.
That is your date, Mr.
Yes, Your
Jimenez.
Honor.
May 16th.
Okay, hang on. Let me go get it.
All right, Norma, Mr. Espinoza can go back.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
You may be excused. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
David Cuellar.
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to the coordinator in County Court 6. She sent me paperwork, which I signed, and she has put us down for a plea for 9:30 tomorrow morning.
All right,
So-
we'll recall Mr. Huerta's case then tomorrow. Ms. Ferguson, are we able to recall Mr. Huerta tomorrow at 10:30?
Yes.
All right, we'll recall him tomorrow for 10:30, and if you're sooner than that, we'll take him up sooner.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You and your
Thank you.
client are excused.
Thank you. Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hayek. Mr. Hayek?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Are you ready to proceed on your case?
During the time you've been doing your hearings, I've been sending experts to Mr. Masters, and I think we discussed enough, but I don't know if he wants to meet with me or not. We never made it to a breakout room.
Okay,
Otherwise,
nobody requested. Mr. Masters, would you like to go to a breakout room to speak with your attorney? Press the space bar, Mr. Master. It's the longest key. Would you like to speak with your attorney in a breakout room?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room. It should pop up. Just go to that room when it requests you, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Groomer brought up that we may be having a need for Flowers sentencing tomorrow.
Yes,
I
we will
saw
be.
something come through, but I didn't open it up and now I can't find it.
All
That's
right, we'll
awful.
discuss that. If you'll go to breakout room number 4, and Mr. Masters, if you'll go to 4, please. Cornelius Cox.
Just Judge, I'm here. I've signed the paperwork, and I don't know where it's at now. So we got a deal done. I've signed the paperwork. That's my status.
Okay, where's your client?
Well, he's captured. I mean, he's in the Bexar County Jail, Judge.
He's captured. Okay.
So he's just awaiting and anticipating getting this situation resolved as I am.
All right, well, we're going to get it resolved today.
Thank you, Judge.
And he's listed as Mario Escalante.
Yes,
I'm going to
ma'am.
send you to breakout room number 6. Please go to number 6 with your attorney.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
could a clerk meet him in number 6? Supposedly there's some paperwork. And Ms. Ferguson, can you see where Mr. Myrick is, please? Barry Hitchens?
Is present, Your Honor, and my client, Stephen Velasquez, is also present.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Velasquez's case?
I met with Ryan Groomer. He made a plea offer to me, and I relayed that plea offer to my client. And my client indicated to me that he wanted to reject it, and that's where we stand. And I think the court wanted to talk to him before dismissing both of us.
Yes, because he needs to get a reset date. Do you have all the discovery?
Not yet. He was just indicted last month. And there's some additional discovery. I know there is at least 8 videos. 3 of them are body worn and 5 are, to my knowledge, co-banned. There may be more than that.
Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a 30-day reset for discovery on Mr. Velasquez, please? All right, we're going to come back on May 10th. You and your client are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, I was supposed to go to breakout room number 6 and I can't get there. I don't know.
All right, do you see at the bottom where it says breakout rooms? Do you see 4 squares at the bottom of your computer? All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you have a deputy send Mario to breakout room number 6, please? Joseph Acevedo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, what is happening with Stephanie Gomez?
We don't have a resolution yet. May we have a setting?
This is a motion to revoke.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what is this going to be contested?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because what I have here is allegedly
Yes, Your Honor.
that she's testing positive for drugs, and then she didn't enter inpatient residential treatment at Alpha Home or was removed from there for not abiding by rules. So if this is going to be set for a contested hearing, this is going to be a contested hearing. We're not setting it for a contested hearing. Then on the day of the contested hearing, mysteriously, there's an agreement worked out. So If this is going to be a contested hearing, that's what it's going to be. So are we asking for a contested hearing?
We're asking for a hearing with an explanation, but I'm not ready to proceed on that today.
So is your client going to be pleading true?
She will be pleading true.
All right, then she can plead true and we can come back on another day for an explanation.
That's fine.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you get the paperwork ready for Ms. Gomez, please? And they will need a consent to plea, and they will also need a trial court certification. And of course, I'm asking for the trial court certification, Mr. Acevedo, but of course, I'm not making a ruling on her pleas of true today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you discuss with the state what she would be pleading true to?
I can jump in a breakout room with Joseph real quick. I think we kind of did, but just in case.
All right, thank you. Joseph, I'm going to send you to number 7.
Okay.
Ms. Guerrero.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I did meet with the client and I wanted to kind of explain some of the factors.
All right. So first off, is she allowed to drive or is she not allowed to drive?
She is allowed to drive. She does have a valid driver's license. Additionally, she does have the portable device and she's blowing in that device 3 times a day.
Why isn't she on the ignition interlock?
That I don't have information for. I just know that she has a portable device and that's what she was ordered.
All right. Ms. Smith, you're going to be placed on ignition interlock. You cannot be driving a vehicle and you're not on ignition interlock. I don't know why somebody would give you portable if you're driving.
Yes.
So just give me one moment. To the clerks, could I have the conditions for bond for Ms. Smith, please? And Ms. Guerrero, of course, we will give you a reset since you've just been placed on this case. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Hannah Smith, please, in the chat box? All right, your new date is going to be May 16th for this case. And the clerks are pulling the bond conditions for me.
Hello?
You know more than what date she's asking?
All right, Ms. Guerrero,
Yes, Your Honor.
I have something from August 23rd. Was something ordered after August 23rd? Because on the August 23rd, it says there's to be ignition interlock.
Don't have that information. She had Miss Corley, I believe, before. I don't know if Miss Corley did some type of amending of bond conditions.
All right, just one moment. To the clerks, could you keep looking through to see if there's anything else on Miss Hannah Smith? Just give us a moment, Ms. Guerrero. They're going to look for it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Anton Hayek.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you ready on Mr. Masters?
Ready on Mr. Masters.
Who's the prosecutor?
Ryan talked to me.
It's Ryan, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 0502 State of Texas versus Daryl Masters. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Anton Hike from Mr. Masters. You need to unmute.
All right, are you Mr. Masters?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding with sentencing by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
The defendant entered a plea of guilty to count 1 on March 3rd. Count 2 was waived. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find him guilty. He applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years opposed. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No
The
objection.
PSI report.
Defense.
None from
All
the
right.
state.
Thank you. All right, state, you're opposed?
Yes, Judge. Judge, we don't have any witnesses, just argument.
All right, the court will hear argument.
Yes, Judge. In this particular case, the state is asking for 4 years TDC. I believe we have a situation where Mr. Masters was approached when he was on private property by a couple of people who were just trying to do their jobs. He was causing a disturbance at this hospital. I believe 2 security guards who were there approached him, asked him to leave. At that point, Mr. Masters turned the knife on them and told them if they touched him, he was going to kill them. They backed off, obviously, called police, and the police showed up, and Mr. Masters was arrested with a knife there. He has some criminal history here and I believe some out of county, but nonetheless, he has shown himself to be a dangerous individual, at least in this situation, to some people who didn't have anything to do with him. In addition, in the PSI, I believe he claims that that people were following him, that I guess he never made these threats to him. These people don't know who he is. There's no reason for them to make up any threats that he has made towards them. We believe that probation is not what's best for him. He's not taking responsibility for what happened that day, and we ask you to deny his application for probation.
All right, defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to ask some questions of Mr. Masters, Your Honor.
Mr. Masters, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Will you state your name for the record, please?
Daryl Masters.
All right, defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Masters, on the day in question, did you have a knife, like a hunting knife, or what we normally would use as a knife to open up boxes?
It was a box cutter.
Okay. And box cutters typically have short blades on them, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And do you know if the box cutter in question was taken to evidence? The police.
I don't know.
Okay. Now, the 2 security guards, you approached them. Is that not correct?
Yes, sir, I did approach them.
And why did you approach him?
I approached them because I was being followed by someone, and that was what the box cutter was for. I just basically wanted them to call the police for me. That's what it said on the 911 call also.
Okay, so you weren't upset with the security guards, were you?
No, sir. I saw them as help. I approached them and asked them for help.
Do you recall turning to them and saying, if you touch me, I'll kill you or I'll cut you or anything like that?
No, sir. I honestly do not.
Were you upset that day?
I was a little agitated that someone was following me, and that, yes, sir.
Okay. Would you like to say anything else to the judge before she rules on your application?
Yes, Your Honor, I just basically would like for you to show leniency on me because I am really not a menace to society. I don't have an extensive record, criminal record. I'm willing to do the programs for whatever you need me to do for probation. And I do apologize for any misunderstanding or inconvenience or situation. That's all. Just, I would like for probation. I'm not a dangerous person at all. And I was looking for help from these guys.
Your Honor, I need to make some argument, but Mr. Groomer has a right to cross-examine.
Yes, any
I
questions?
pass.
Just
All right.
briefly,
Yes,
just briefly, Judge. Mr. Masters, you do understand that the victims in this case, the security guards who you said you approached, they told the police that you held the knife out to them and threatened to kill them if they touched you.
And no, sir, I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so you're
Because I did
saying,
not do that.
you're saying that if they told the police that in the stipulations that the judge has, then they would be lying.
I would say that because I did not say that I would kill them. I, again, was trying to get assistance from them.
So if they said that, then they would be lying. You did not tell them that you were going to kill them while holding the knife out if they touched you.
No, sir, I did not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
all right, defense.
Yes, Your Honor. I read all the documents that were furnished this morning after lunch. I've gone over them as best I could while on chat, sending excerpts to my client. This is a little bit an odd situation because he walks up to security guards and wants help. And he has a box cutter in his hand, which can be dangerously used. I've had them before. One of the security guards didn't respond to questions from the probation office. And the other one said, well, jail. Says, no, I'd rather him have treatment. I was trying to find out what sort of treatment my client thinks he should have. And he says, well, everybody looks at me as taking the knife to the security guard. If I was really walking up there to ask for help. And
All right, so here's the thing, that just so everyone knows, the court has read the PSI report from everyone. So I've read the PSI report. I remember this case. I always reread the stipulations before sentencing, so I've read that. So, Mr. Masters.
if I go over things, Your
No
Honor.
problem. Mr. Masters, here's your choice. I do think you have some mental health issues. It's clear that you do. One or two things are going to happen. Either I can send you to prison or I can give you deferred adjudication, but either way, you're not going to be released today. Because if you receive deferred adjudication, you are going to be going to safety special needs. So I can do that, or I can sentence you to 3 years. Which do you prefer?
I would like the safety. How long would that be?
That's 9 months. But you have to wait for transfer there. So you'll wait at the jail and then they'll transfer you to safety. And then after safety, there'll be aftercare that will be taken care of.
Yes. Okay.
But here's the thing. I think you have mental health issues. I think you need help with your mental health issue. If you don't, do you think you not have mental health issues?
I mean, I suffer from a few things, ma'am, but I don't see how that. Yes, ma'am.
No, go ahead.
I don't see how that had anything to do with the situation. But I mean, I understand. I guess.
All right, because here's the thing,
Fine.
Mr. Masters, you have a combination of issues. Your combination of issues that contributed to what happened is, one, you have a drug issue and you have a mental health issue. And when people are taking drugs for their mental health issues, that usually causes more problems. So from reading the TAP evaluation, reading the MIC evaluation, and reading the PSI report, and also the stipulations, this is where we are. And this is the educated decision that I'm making. However, there's limited amount of resources. So if you don't want to take this seriously, and if you're not going to do well, or you know that you're not going to do well at SafeP and you don't plan on doing well, let me know, and we will save this perhaps for someone else.
No, ma'am. I do believe I'll do well.
All right, so it's $1,000 fine. That'll be probated. 5 years deferred adjudication. And Mr. Masters, with deferred adjudication, as I told you before, if you're not successful on it and you are revoked, then the full range of punishment is open to court, which is up to 20 years. So there's 5 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Nicholas Gentile, Gentile, and Jacob Corona. I'm going to want him to receive the MyALF evaluation. And I'm going to ask for SafeP. And Rebecca, we can start with felony drug court to see if they'll accept him, because I know they take people with dual diagnosis. And that may end up being the best place. But all of these evaluations are going to be while he's in custody. So the first one I'm going to want is I'm going to want felony drug court. If felony drug court can't accept him, then we'll try MyALF. And if MyALF can't accept him, then we'll do SafeP.
Will we be having another hearing, Your Honor?
No. Do you receive SSI, Mr. Masters?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to want proof of employment within 40 days of release from custody. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. We're going to do the UA hotline, regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if for some reason you can't report by Zoom, you'll have to do it in person. We'll do 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, then 40 of those hours will be deducted. Rebecca, is there anything else that he needs?
Judge, were you gonna do, did you say the random field visits?
Thank you. So there's going to be random field visits 3 times per month. And there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Is there anything else, Rebecca?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Masters, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Masters, good luck to you. Mr. Masters, the court understands when people have mental health issues, but you're not excused if you engage in violence because you have mental health issues. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Masters, good luck to you. I'm doing my best to give you conditions that will hopefully help you. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. Probation will meet you there and go over conditions. Mr. Hyatt, you can go to number 3 or you can be excused.
I'd like,
And let the deputy, thank you. All right, Ms. Guerrero and Hannah Smith.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is what the court has discovered from reviewing the filings. Yes, a motion was filed where this defendant was allowed to have the remote in-home monitor installed in the ignition interlock with an affidavit of non-driving. So she's not supposed to be driving because she's using the in-home. So what she has done is she's violated her conditions of bond. So she's driving and she's supposed to have, she's not supposed to be driving.
Okay. As far as I understand, I asked her about having a valid driver's license. I didn't ask her about the difference between the ignition interlock and the home handheld device. I'm sure that she would be more than amenable to have that ignition interlock placed on her vehicle. I do understand that there was an accident and her vehicle was not working, but maybe she has a new vehicle. I didn't get all those details, Your Honor.
All right, so that's what the court has, and that was dated on September 8, 2020. And the court doesn't have an order that's saying that she's going to be driving with ignition interlock. In my understanding, she doesn't have ignition interlock on her vehicle, and she should.
Okay.
So she's going to be going into custody today. She violated her conditions of bond. I can't have someone. And Ms. Smith, I don't take it as true that you committed an intoxication manslaughter, but you're charged with intoxication manslaughter. And one of your conditions was because your attorney, your previous attorney came to me and informed me that you would not be driving. And so I allowed you to have the in-home monitoring device installed in lieu of ignition interlock if an affidavit of non-driving was provided. So you're driving and you don't have an ignition interlock. That's a problem. So you're going to be taken into custody today. Ms. Guerrero, she'll be remanded without bond. If you want to file a motion to have the court reconsider that or bring some more information to me, Ms. Guerrero, of course, the court will be more than willing to consider that. But for now, she is, I'm issuing a judge's warrant and she's going to be remanded.
Okay. Well, I'll visit with her tomorrow through the jail and I'll report back. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
May I be excused?
You may be excused. All right, Joseph Acevedo, are you ready on Stephanie Gomez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then we're going to take up Mario Escalante after that. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 0243, State of Texas versus Stephanie Gomez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Joseph Acevedo for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None from the state.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Gomez, do you have any objections with us proceeding by video?
No.
All right. Ms. Gomez, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Are you the same Stephanie April Gomez who is placed on deferred adjudication in cause number 2021 CR 0243 for the offense of theft under $2,500 enhanced on May 17, 2021 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 2, on or about the 9th day of November 2021. In Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Stephanie April Gomez, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely methamphetamine, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
State?
Violated condition number 2, on or about the 21st day of December 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Stephanie April Gomez, did then and there fail to submit to drug testing as directed by the court officer, supervision officer, and/or a duly authorized agent of the court in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
We'd waive the remaining conditions, Your Honor.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Gomez, did you understand by pleading true to violations 2, 2, and 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 2, 2, and 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Court is finding violations 2, 2, and 2 true. My understanding is that this will be coming back for the court's decision on April 27th. Any objections to that day, Mr. Acevedo?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be back on April 27th. Ms. Gomez, you'll need to appear in the court on April 27th at 9 a.m. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me see. Rebecca may need to speak with you. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. Please be patient. She has someone else in there with her.
Okay.
Judge, will court be on at 9 o'clock?
Yes, 9 a.m.
All right, thank you.
All right. And Mr. Acevedo, I'll send you to number 3 as well, or either you can be excused.
I'll start, may I visit with my client first?
Let me move her.
That's
to
okay,
the-
that's okay. I'll go to 3 with her.
All right, thank you. And then you can just ask Ms. Reyes to move you out of 3. She has the ability to do that. Mr. Cox? Cornelius Cox?
Yes, ma'am, Judge. Right here, Judge, at your service.
Okay.
Great. And I think all the paperwork has been gotten into the court by now.
Yes,
we're
I
ready.
have that. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 1163, State of Texas versus Mario Escalante. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
Cornelius Cox for the defendant.
Are you Mr. Escalante?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
None, Judge.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Escalante, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Are you the same Mario Escalante who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2021 CR 1163 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram on April 27, 2021 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Mario Escalante, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of December 2021 and January 2022 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
I think we had already went through this. I left Lifetime Recovery.
Mr. Escalante, what I need you to do is listen to what the state is reading. And what I need you to do is either answer true or not true to that. If there is an explanation, then the court will hear it afterwards. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so to the allegation that the state has read, how do you plead to violation of condition number 5, true or not true?
True, ma'am.
State?
We'd waive the other condition, Judge. The
Any
other violation.
objections to the state's waivers?
No objections, Judge.
All right, Mr. Escalante, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there an agreement?
We do have an agreement, Judge. We'd ask that you enter an adjudication of guilt and revoke Mr. Escalante's probation and sentence him under 1244 to 145 days in the Bexar County Jail.
All right, and will
That's
that
correct.
be judgment satisfied?
It is, Judge.
That's correct, Judge.
Mr. Escalante, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will follow your agreement. The court will find 5 true as previously stated. The court is finding you guilty. Will sentence you to 145 days in the Bexar County Jail under 12.44, and the court will show that the judgment is satisfied. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If you have a question of what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you, Mr. Escalante. If you have a drug or alcohol problem, there are plenty of free places available for you. Don't be the person who's in and out of prison. Don't be the person who may end up overdosing and dying from using drugs for people who are not FDA approved. You understand?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Might be excused, Judge?
Yes, you may be
All right,
excused.
thank you.
To the clerks, can
Always
you
a
let
pleasure.
them know that Mario 14E can go back? And Mr. Ramirez and Mr. Hayek. Mr. Hayek, I know you need to speak with Mr. Gruma concerning Ms. Flowers.
Judge, I don't think he needs to speak to me as much as you, Judge. I kind of just let him know that, I mean, if you want to take it up at this time.
All right, just give me a moment, Mr. Hayek. Let me take up Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, Your Honor.
I've signed the paperwork. Who's your client?
Wayne Todd Rowland.
Let me send him to a breakout room. Mr. Rowland, if you go to breakout room number 1, if the clerks could go to 1. And Mr. Ramirez, if you'll go to 1.
Okay.
And they'll let me know if they have all the paperwork. All right, Mr. Hayek and Mr. Groomer, I'll see you in breakout room number 4, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone, just give me one moment.
Judge, are you available? This is Sean Henderson.
Yes, Mr. Hendrickson?
Yes, Judge. So I think have everything mostly worked out on pretrial diversion for Chris Gonzalez. Colin's got the paperwork to me. I've signed off on my part. I'm just working on getting the documents over to my client so he can sign off on it. And so that's kind of where we are in the process.
All right, so when are you getting those documents to your client?
I'm getting them to my client within the next few minutes. The only issue is that the documents are in PDF form. They're not e-signatures like I guess mostly paperwork and everything else is. So I guess once I get it over to my client, it's a matter of, I guess, getting a way for him to sign off on it and everything.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you would like to have us come back tomorrow to give us time to work all of that out.
All right, we'll recall it for tomorrow.
Okay. And as far as Colin, would you like for him to come back tomorrow also, or do you just need me and my client?
Mr. Ashworth?
Yes, Your
My
Honor.
understanding is that this is going to be a pretrial diversion. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to recall it for tomorrow. My understanding, all the paperwork has been filled out on your end. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, so In your county, how long does pretrial diversion for them to complete everything usually takes?
So I've spoken with the pretrial diversion with Bear County, and he is allowed to participate in the program offered by them. However, they just want all the paperwork sent to me rather than to the Bear County DA's office.
All right, so what then we'll do is, you don't have to be here tomorrow. I know Ms. Ferguson has your contact information. So but Mr. Henderson, you and your client need to be here tomorrow so we can make sure that all the paperwork is done. And usually Ms. Ferguson will then set this a month out. And by then he should probably be halfway completed with the pretrial diversion program. So we'll recall it tomorrow for Mr. Hendrickson, Mr. Gonzalez. Mr. Ashworth, you don't need to appear.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate your honor, and thank you for letting me act pro tem in your court.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you. If you want to come and join permanently, let us know.
Yes, ma'am. You take care. Sean.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, Mr. Taylor, your attorney should be zooming in. And Mr. Hendrickson, I'll see you and Mr. Gonzalez tomorrow. Ms. Ferguson will send you the link.
Okay, it will be tomorrow morning or afternoon, just for scheduling purposes?
Tomorrow morning at 9, and it should be fairly quickly if all the paperwork is completed.
Okay, we will get all that taken care of, and we'll see you tomorrow morning then, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2128, State of Texas versus Wayne Todd Rawlins. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Robert Ramirez, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Rawlins?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Rawlins, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I did, and I reviewed it with my client, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Rawlins, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We waived the reading of the amended indictment, Your Honor.
All right. And my understanding, there is an amended indictment, Ms. Sparks.
Yes, Your Honor. We have filed a motion to amend the indictment to include a count 2, which would be a state jail terroristic threat against a peace officer.
All right, to the clerks, could I have the amended indictment, please?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and I believe Mr. Taylor is either CTD or family violence. That's who Mr. Meyert is here for. Mr. Meyert, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Do not leave until you've spoken to your client.
CTD.
That's where you're going. You're going to number 2. All right, any objections to the state's amended motion?
None, Your Honor.
All right, just one moment. I'm having the clerks print that out. And count 2, what is that charge, Ms. Sparks?
Your Honor, it is a state jail, a terroristic threat of a peace officer.
All right, Mr. Rawlins, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on count 2 only? They're waiving count 1. Any objections to the waiver of count 1?
No, ma'am.
All right. And in count 2, you're charged with terroristic threat of a peace officer. Did you understand that's a state jail felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and
Yes,
up
ma'am.
to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, he has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do believe so.
Mr. Rollins, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Very. Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. You reviewed that page with your attorney. Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. There's a $1,000 fine. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration county court cause number 675298. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No.
Then to the office as charged in count 2, how do you plead, Mr. Rollins? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea.
Yes, Judge. State offer states Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objection.
Mr. Rollins, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. Court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We ask, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I ask that you follow the plea agreement and give him, if he can get credit for time served. I also ask, Your Honor, if there's any way you could recommend that this sentence run concurrent with any revocation of his parole.
All right, Mr. Rollins, are you aware that with regards to revocations of parole, if you have not been revoked on your parole, the only thing that the court can do is request that this run concurrent with parole revocation, but it will be completely up to parole. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will sentence you then to 1 year in the state jail facility, $1,000 fine, time and money to run concurrent, taking consideration county court number 675298, give you credit for any time served, and I will request that this sentence runs concurrent with any parole revocation. All right, I'm showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to contact an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Rollins. We can go off the record, Mr. Rollins. I
Thank
read
you.
the police report, and you know what? If you were polite to people, you probably wouldn't be here. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Always be polite, even when things get stressful. Good luck to you, Mr. Rowland.
Thank
To the
you.
clerks, you're welcome. To the clerks, you can let them know that 14R can go back. And thank you, Mr. Ramirez, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll talk to you soon, Wayne.
All right, Santoria. Ethan B., who is your attorney?
Natasha Torres, ma'am.
All right, we're going to try to get Miss Natasha Torres back here. Just give me one moment. All right, Mr. Furnace. Who is your attorney? You're muted. I know you said some great things, but we didn't hear you. Mr. Furnace, don't leave. Do you see the space bar? It's the longest key on the keyboard. Hold it down.
That's like in between that.
Who's your attorney? Hold the space bar down.
Okay,
Someone told me no.
Who's your attorney?
I can't remember her name.
Anita.
You spoke to her this morning?
Anita Garza, just give me a moment, okay?
Okay.
Discovery, and when it matches up, you like, nah, my client.
He's on page 7, Judge.
Wasn't no.
Right, thank you. Mr. Furnace, your attorney will be on shortly. All right, to Criminal Trial Division, I'm sending Miss Anita Perez to breakout room number 3.
Hey, Judge, I'll go talk to her.
Thank you. Rebecca, could I see you in a breakout room, please? If I
Yes,
could see you in
ma'am.
breakout room number 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Meyer?
I conferred with Mr. Groomer as well as the client. Mr. Groomer was going to, he advised me that he was going to speak to the complainant.
Well, let me ask you this, before you do that, did you leave your client in the breakout room by himself? That would be a yes.
Yes.
All right, at the beginning, I always tell people, if your client is an inmate, don't leave them in a breakout room by themselves.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't do that anymore.
All right, I'm
Sorry.
sending you back to that breakout room. I need you to have him come out of that breakout room, please.
Okay, sure. Sure.
Eloy, who is your attorney?
I believe his name is Hector Garza.
All right, Mr. Eloy, we're going to recall you for tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
To the clerks, can you let them know 14F Eloy can go back? Ms. Taylor, we're going to recall you for tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
And the clerks, if you'll let them know that Ms. Taylor should go back. Okay, Michael's shirt looks like there's a head missing. I mean, doesn't it?
It feels like a head's missing too.
Ms. Perez? You're on mute.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's saying he can't hear me. I don't understand what's going on, but I typed in the offer into the chat. Obviously I did confer with Ryan. Last time we were waiting for a restitution amount, but now he says we're probably not even gonna need that. So I did give him
Okay,
the
I'm
offer.
gonna need you to go back to breakout room number 3 and have your client leave the breakout room. Clients who are in custody are not allowed in the breakout rooms by themselves.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Okay. We're having audio issues, so I don't know. That was the other reason I wanted to let you know that he's saying he can't hear me. So just tell him to come out.
Yes. Mr. Furness? Are you able to hear me? All right, can you unmute, please? Hold down the space bar.
Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I could not hear my attorney. She was cutting out more than she was in.
Okay, all right, thank you. So you don't have any problem hearing us, correct?
Right.
All right, Ms. Pettis said that she put the offer in the chat box to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you receive that offer?
I think so, yes.
All right. What do you wish to do? Do you wish to accept the offer or no?
Well, I'd like to talk to her for a few minutes. I couldn't do that.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to recall your case for tomorrow at 9 a.m. And
Okay.
then your attorney will have any issues worked out, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So that'll be tomorrow at 9 a.m., Ms. Garza. I mean, sorry, Ms. Pettis. You're on mute.
Exactly what happened that day. And I know if the video, what it
It'll
shows,
be-
if it's a lie or not. And believe me, I know the cooks, how these cooks do down there. You know, the SAPD, the Bexar County.
Yes, you keep cutting in and out. I think there's something wrong with your Wi-Fi. To the clerks, can you let them know that Furnace can go back?
Yeah, my only question was what the link, I guess Norma will email that.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
yes.
Sorry about the internet.
No
All right.
problem.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Byers, who's your attorney?
Natasha Torres, ma'am.
All right, we're going to be back at 9 a.m. You'll need to call your attorney and let her know that she needs to be here tomorrow at 9 a.m., okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Brenda, do you see what page Leandro Gonzalez is on?
He is on. He's on the page 17.
Okay, awesome. And then